One of the most common complaints that I get from teachers, and one of the things that really bugged me in my classroom also, was that kids are really terrible at giving presentations. They create these slideshows, they're super distracting. They tend to have more fun with the visual medium than actually make it worthwhile. And then they sit there and read off the slides. And we get very, very frustrated because we know that's not what good presenters do. And then my own reflection, if I'm thinking about my own classroom, is I never actually taught them how to make good presentations. We talked about it, but I didn't actually have them do any intentional practice with giving good presentations. And we know this is a really important skill for them to have, those speaking and listening standards for sure. But if you look at the most highly valued employable skills for any student, communication is going to be one of them. Being able to talk to your peers, be able to get your ideas across in a coherent and organized way. And presentations are a great way to do that. So, these are just going to be some tips for using Google Slides to make high quality presentations because that is at its core what it does, right? This is a presentation software. Um, so far, if you've engaged in any of these other pieces, we're not talking about presentations the whole time. We're talking about the different things it can do. And then after this, down below it are like some other cool things that you can do with Google Slides that aren't necessarily presentations. So it's just really that very, very flexible Swiss Army knife for sure. But let's talk about what it can do and what it was designed for in the beginning. So I'm just looking over here at my notes, which is ironic. I mean, it's okay to have notes, right? That's actually going to be one of the things that we talk about. But let's talk about aesthetics first. So when we're giving students their, I'm just going to move my notes over here, so it's not like this. When we're giving students their like the aesthetics and what do your slides look like, it's important to talk to them about having a consistent theme and something that is not distracting. I usually tell students that if you're going to be doing a slideshow, I don't want you thinking about the look of it a whole ton. It needs to be clean, it needs to be clear, and it needs to not be distracting. Like no one is coming to your presentation for your very pretty slides. They should be there to accent what you are saying because you are the deliverer of information. So to that end, I typically recommend a black background. So if I just go to background and I say black, and then add to theme, it's going to make every single one of my slides black. The problem is now that my text is white. I can change my text to white like this, but if I go to my next slide and I add a new slide, that text is all going to be black still. So if you watched a previous video, if we come up to slide and edit theme, and then we click on this very first slide and we change the text to white here, and we change the text to white here, it's going to change uh, the default text on our slides to be white. So now I can add a new slide and it's going to be black on white. The reason that we do black on white is because one, the contrast, very, very easy to see. Two, if you are presenting uh, and oh, I don't want to share. I want to hit present. Yeah. It looks like my slides just flow right into my screen, right? Big black border. I could insert, I could go to unsplash. So if you didn't look at the images, if you didn't engage with the images, inserting images, then you missed out on Unsplash being my favorite resource for high quality free images. So if I take like this and I drag it into my presentation, Bruce Mars, I go like this, it feels a little bit more infinite, right? Because it, well, actually, here, this is a better way to do this. Let's go like this. It flows all the way through, as opposed to if I had like a white background. Uh, Mine fits nicely on my screen, but let's say I change the. I'm hiding it. I change the ratio of my slides. Notice that it has these black bars here. If I had a white background, those would be white and it'd be this very jarring like um picture white and then like a black border over here, and it just does not look very good. So having a black background makes your presentations feel like they're infinitely flowing into the sides of your screen, no matter what the aspect ratio of your presentation is, or the device, more importantly, where you're going. It just makes it feel cleaner. It's a small little touch that doesn't feel like it should matter, but it absolutely does. So make sure that the background of your slides are black typically. You might have some sort of consistent theme in there, but make sure, again, that's not distracting working with your students. I have a hard time identifying colors that work together. It is just not my gift. I am not design oriented, so all of this is very ironic coming from me. But one of my favorite resources that has really helped me with this is Coolors, Coolors. If I go to start the generator here, I can it will automatically. That's very distracting. Wish I hadn't done that. Sorry, that's annoying. It's going to automatically create a color palette for me right here that will work together, and then I can simply grab that color. It's going to grab the hex code down here. I can grab that color. Then if I come to my slides, change my background, I can customize my color simply by pasting in that code there. Now I have that color in my slide, and I can use this palette within my slide. So I can customize my own, or what I actually like to do is I go to explore trending palettes. And when I'm creating things around like St. Patrick's Day or Valentine's Day or May, like I could say St. Patrick's Day because it is currently February or March 19th. And so that was right there. Um, it's just give me for whatever reason. I did this the other day. What if I went green? There we go. That's better, right? So I can kind of get these different themes here of like I've got some greens, I've got some golds. If I search like earth, it's going to give me some earth tones. I did this the other day. Pastel. Going to give me some pastel tones here, which is super, super nice. Like I did this some of the stuff around Easter. Can I have some Easter egg colors? Did I spell pastel correctly? I don't know. That will really help. Oh, here we go. Easter, Christmas, gold, wedding, sunset. Look at this. Christmas themes, Halloween. Love it, right? So if you're looking for students to create some of those like visual mediums that work together and they're not super good at this type of stuff, which again, there are tools that can help them with that. When we're creating presentations, I also tell students that like if I wanted you to write me an essay, I would have you write me an essay. You are doing a presentation, which means you should not have uh, this is my presentation, and then a whole bunch of text that looks like this, and then you just sit there and you read off the screen to me, right? That's not what I'm looking for. Instead, I would much rather have something like this, where you have like maybe one word, and then you have an image like this. That works super nicely with the black background. Notice if I do this, it's going to cut it off. So if I right click this and I go to order and I send it to the back, now it just flows. And now maybe now I'm doing a history presentation and I'm talking about something that sparked the Civil War, something that sparked the Industrial Revolution, right? This should serve as a visual medium to make a connection to the information that's coming out of the student's mouth. The the nice part about this is one, it's good presentations, a good presentation technique. There's nothing that irritates me more than when I sit there in a presentation and watch someone read off the screen, right? That's super annoying. But also, this forces students to be responsible for the information. They cannot sit here and use the slides as a crutch. And if they are well prepared, which we're going to get into, if they're well prepared, this image should make connections in their brain because they should be meaningfully making connections with these images, and it will support them in what they're supposed to be talking about, right? So this will help them and support them, but also this will make it so that my attention isn't on the slides. My attention is on the speaker, which is where it should be. Again, I guess not again, because we talked about proper formatting in the images. Notice this didn't take up the entire screen. That's okay, but I'm not going to like do something like this because it's going to look all stretched out. If it doesn't fit, I'm not going to uh, do this, right? That looks like garbage. Kids do that stuff all the time. You want to make it bigger or smaller. You click and you drag from the edges like this, or you can double click it to crop it and do whatever you need to with it like that, right? So that proper formatting, very, very important. Transitions can be nice. Like you can add slide transitions. You can transition in your objects. So like if I wanted this to like fade in, right, on a click, I could do this. That's great. Kids have a tendency to go a little bit nuts with these. It is annoying, right? They animate every single thing because they're just like playing around, and that's okay. But when it comes to the final presentation, we want to tell kids stick with one type of transition, use it sparingly, and use it for impact. And so if you're transitioning something in, you should be transitioning it in at a certain point of your talking, not just, oh, it's a new piece of text. I'm gonna have it fly in from the right. I'm gonna have it fly in from the. I'm gonna have it appear, whatever. It should not be there, and then when you need it to be there to make a dramatic effect, then you have that sucker transition in. And then if you're gonna transition slides, they should be quick, they should be consistent, and not distracting. So every slide should transition the same. When students are ready to present, especially if they are presenting from a computer, again, we don't want them reading off of the slides, but we do have these speaker notes down here at the very bottom. So I'm going to put my notes in here, right? So these are the things that I'm looking at over here. And I could put like different like reminders on these slides for me. And then if I come up here to slideshow and click presenter view, it's going to give me this little pop out. I can see what my upcoming slide is, and I can see all of my notes for that particular slide that I'm presenting from on. I do this all the time online because I make these slides like weeks, sometimes months in advance, and I don't remember what the next slide is, and I don't remember exactly what I'm going to be talking about, but these things are meant to be reminders like, oh yeah, and then those things click. And so then I can be consistently referencing those, which helps a lot. And then finally, practice is key. Before kids go presenting, practice, 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 practice. And that means actually talking out loud and watching themselves back. A great place to do this is one of my all-time favorite tech tools, and that's Flip. So if you haven't used Flip, is a free online program where kids can record and upload videos for their teacher. They can record and rewatch, record and delete, record, 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 record. They can record their screen. They can see their face. It's really, really good. And so I like to use Flip to have students practice their presentations because they can create a video. It's not going to work here because I'm using my camera here. They can create a video and record their screen and practice talking through their presentation. And kids are really good at going, I've made it, I'm ready to go. And the second you make them actually do it and put it into practice, they crash and they burn. And this is a really great place. Flip is a really great place to build up some of that confidence. That way they can practice and refine and iterate, and super powerful. All right, this is a very long video, so I'm going to cut it off there. What I would like you to do is think about how you can incorporate some good presentation practice in your classroom with your students, or move on to a different topic.